Hello! Welcome to Inky Art School. This video was a live class I held on Facebook as part of my free 10-day Inky Art School course. You can watch all 10 videos and get the free downloads I mention at www.johannabasford.com/Inky Art School. I'll pop a link below. And if you like this class, be sure to check out my book, How to Draw Inky Wonderlands. It's jam-packed with easy to follow step-by-step tutorials, creative project ideas, and of course, it wouldn't be an Inky Adventure without some pages to colour. Thanks for watching and have fun. Welcome to Inky Art School. Thank you so much to everybody who has joined us for this new Inky Adventure. I wanted to find the best way to get as many of you drawing as quickly as possible, and this seemed like it was going to be it. So welcome to Inky Art School. We're going to have a roughly 1 hour class each day. I'll probably be a little bit less unless I blabber, and you can catch up anytime. So after the live stream, don't worry if there's buffering or if your connection comes and goes. I'll post the video on this group when the live class is finished, and you can catch up anytime. So hopefully you saw my post about an hour ago telling you the things that you needed for the class today. So just to go over it again, you will need your clicky pencil or whatever drawing pencil that you want to use, a couple of Fineliner pens. I'm going to use a Staedtler 0.3 just because a little 0.2 is going to be too difficult for you to see on the live stream. An eraser, use a white one please. A white plastic eraser is the best eraser for this kind of work. Anything coloured or like a putty rubber or some sort of weird novelty eraser. Evie has a lot of like pink sparkly Shopkins or My Little Pony erasers that just smudge the page and rip the paper. Don't bother with them, folks. Your compass, I have some spare leads, and drawing paper. I'm going to actually use some Dalla Rowney layout paper, my favourite drawing paper, but you can totally draw on white office paper if that's what you have to hand. I'm just going to check in all the comments. Whew, it's always a relieving moment when a Facebook Live works. So I'm going to start each class with a little pep talk / cheerleading chat. So I asked on my Inky email newsletter, which I hope you were all signed up to. If not, make sure you sign up for it. What are the biggest things that you struggle with when you want to try and draw? And I've collated all the answers, and we're going to go through like the most popular ones and try and answer them. So the thing that a lot of people said was they don't have the right art materials, or they know what they would like but they're too expensive. And I totally get this. I have been a skin art student for 4 years when I was at art school. It's really difficult when you can't afford the things that you think you need to make great work. And the key word there, folks, is the things you think you need, because you don't need any fancy equipment, especially not to do the kind of art that we're going to speak about here today. You could do this with just one single pencil. The results will be slightly different, but you don't need tons of fancy art supplies. Everything that I'm going to show you in this course and that is in the book, the new book, How to Draw Inky Wonderlands, you can do with a humble HB pencil and a pen if you want to, or you just stick with the pencil. And you don't need really fancy paper. I use that Dalla Rowney layout paper because it's the best for scanning. And quite often I will have to scan my artwork in and digitize it. But other times I'll just draw on copy paper, on the back of receipts, on a little notebook that I get from the supermarket. You don't need really expensive art supplies. So please don't let that be your excuse. And if anything needs to reinforce that message, just think about all those cavemen and cavewomen who beautifully decorated the inside of their caves with those gorgeous paintings. They were not going, hello, I don't have a Caran d'Ache sharpener, I don't have any polychromos. They just made their art supplies because it was so important to them to be creative. So just grab a hold of your inner caveman, cavewoman, and find the art supplies that you have to hand and use them to draw. I mean, use a biro for all I care. The important thing is that you draw. Then you'll discover what your favourite art supplies are. All right, everyone's checking in and saying hi. Hello, folks. Thank you so much for all your nice messages. Okay, let's dig in. So today's class, I am so hot today. It's boiling in the studio and I made the mistake of wearing this sweatshirt, which I love, Scampin' Dude, but it's really, really hot. So we're going to crack on. I'm going to flip the camera. Ta-da! So now you should not see me anymore, and you were going to see what we're about to draw. So let me remove this sheet. We're going to start off today by drawing 2 simple flowers, and then 3 wildflowers, and then something a bit special. So I've got the camera quite close in today. Hopefully this is going to be okay. We'll use today as the trial. How cute are my nails, by the way? Look at that. So cute. Thank you to Kirsty who did that for me. I'm also going to take my bracelet off because it's making a funny noise. So to start off with, we're going to draw a teeny little circle like this with a little spot in the middle. Think of it as the world's smallest fried egg. And then we're going to draw a slightly larger circle around it. Now, that's the way I draw my circles. As you can see, that is not one single line. It takes me a few goes to get it round, and I don't worry if it's a bit wonky. Now, around this sort of inner circle, we're going to do little scallop-shaped petals, like the kind that you'd have drawn on a flower when you were a wee girl. And now, around the outer edge of those little petals, we're going to do this. So you could get super specific and say, I'm going to do a big petal every 2 of the little petals, or just do what I did there and sort of rough it out. Okay, so that's steps 1, 2 and 3. Now we are going to draw the big petals that are going to go around and almost, actually probably touch a little bit further out than this main line here. So this line here just lets me make sure that my final flower is roughly circular shaped. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit wonky. And the petals that I'm going to do today are, I'm going to move this to the side a little bit. So almost like a long heart shape like that. So as you can see, they're bigger, but it's just the idea that it gives you that rough edge. Now, I like to do some like that. So sometimes there's a big gap, sometimes there's a small gap, and sometimes, like that's a very small gap, sometimes they overlap. The only thing that you have to make sure is it looks as though the centre of all these petals radiates from that one point. So for example, here's one that would not work. So say you did this. That looks a bit weird because look where the centre of that petal would be, like over here. So don't do that. Just erase that little guy. And the joy of doing petals like this that are differently arranged, sort of different spaces between them, is that as you get closer to here, you don't have to worry if you've not balanced them perfectly. Like I think it looks good where you have a big gap there and then some overlap here. They don't need to be exactly equidistant all the way around. So don't worry about perfection, is what I guess I'm saying. And that's that one. So now we are going to take our pens. I am using Staedtler 0.3 Fineliner. Just trying to keep up with comments. So wait 2 seconds, folks, while I just quickly try and scroll. Super. I can see you all. So if you've missed the start, don't worry, catch up later. We're going to ink this drawing. Now normally if I was doing this and we were creating artwork for a colouring book, I would now take a new sheet of paper and lay it over the top. Look, watch what happens with the layout paper. It is thin enough that I can see that to trace, but I appreciate that not everybody has layout paper, so don't worry about that for now. We're going to do it this technique. The only advantage to this is that if you lay a new sheet of paper over the top, you don't have to erase the pencil lines. So it's a little bit cleaner. But if you do it like this, it shouldn't be that smudgy anyway. You'll see what I mean. So do the first steps in pencil, always. Redraw in ink. Okay. I think a lot of people assume that, oh look, that I did exactly what I told you not to do. Look where that petal was going. I'm going to sort that here. I think a lot of people assume that illustrators and artists draw in ink straight out. No, I think almost everybody would draw in pencil first. You need to do that so you can work out the composition, to fix any mistakes. You know, you can't fix ink. Never trust anyone that says that they've got an ink eraser. I just do not believe those things work very well. Just draw in pencil. It's so much less stressful. You can make lots of changes. No need to worry. Okay. Now that we've done the outline, we're going to add some details. So I'm going to do these little flicks like this. And the way that I do them is I press kind of hard initially and then like a little flick and get lighter. And the best way I can explain this, ladies, and maybe some gentlemen, is imagine you were plucking your eyebrows. You sort of squeeze tight on the tweezers and then pull and ease off. So it's that sort of tight then pull, tight then pull. So it's the eyebrow plucker technique. Mind how you say that. Now I'm going to do a couple of little dots. That one, there wasn't really quite room for 2 dots, so I've just done one. I think the moral of the story here is I just wing it. If it's not going to fit, if the original plan isn't going to quite work, I just tweak it a little bit. So that's our first flower. And then what sometimes looks nice is I might take my pen and just go over this outline here to make it extra inky. And I'm also going to shade colour in this middle bit completely black. And then you could leave it at that, or this works nicely as well. I might use the 0.2, oh no, I'll stick to 0.3. So you saw how we went around that extra outline again. You can do that as well on the outer edge of all of these. So everywhere where it's the outside edge that meets the white paper, just go over it again. And you don't need to do anything other than go over it. And all that does is darkens in that line and makes it bolder. So I'm not going around each of those big petals individually. So I'm not doing in these bits, literally just the outside edge. There we go. So that's our first little flower. Now what I'm going to do is let the ink dry completely. I might hop back over here just so that we're not literally watching ink dry. When you're leaving your ink to dry, it's really important that you leave it to dry completely before you start to erase it. If not, you're going to smudge it. So give it a good few minutes. I mean, unless you're speed drawing, which nobody does, you don't need to be rushing that. Also make sure your eraser is really clean. I'm going to give this one a bit of a clean by just rubbing it on my desk. Getting it nice and clean. There we go. Now I'll show you a trick for checking if your ink is dry. So here's our flower. I'm just going to make a fist with my hand and roll like the chubby fat part of my fist onto the drawing. And as you can see, it's come up clean apart from that little bit there, which makes me think, yeah, see, I think we've got a little bit of ink still dry here. We'll just give that a little minute. While we're waiting for that, we can draw our next flower. So I'm going to move this to the side here. This one is a bit different. So again, we're going to start off with a small circle like this. You see that? Yeah. With a point in the middle. Now, I am going to draw little circles all the way around there. Super simple. Or as Evie would say, simple dimple. Excuse me. Thank you to everyone who watched her tutorial video on my Facebook page the other day. She was delighted. And I'm probably going to retire. So I'm just scoping this out. We need to imagine we're splitting this circle into quarters. Do a little line here, so like that, and then a little line here like that.
So we've literally done a vertical line and a horizontal line and split this circle into quarters. Now I'm going to split each of the quarters into half, making it into eighths. Now I'm going to join this line and this line in a point like this. And this one and this one. And this one and this one. That is a really easy way to sort of roughly place out 4 petals to get them into quarters, quadrants, I guess it would be. I'm seeing a streaming light flash on my computer, but I don't see anybody leaving a comment saying this is terrible. Please help me. Hold on. No, everyone's just at Simple Dimple. Okay. Right. Next up, I would see this line here, how it's sort of come a bit, what's that word? A different angle. I'm just going to do this because that makes that look like that's a folded over petal. I hadn't really intended to do that, but I'll just take the good of that. Let's grab our pens and ink this one in. So we're not going to redraw that inner circle. We're only going to draw the ring of baby circles that was drawn on top of it, and then our petals, and then our folded over little petally bit, and this one here, there we go. Now let's add some details. So I'm going to do this in ink, but if you want to do it in pencil first, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to add an outline to this petal. So remember, if this little petal's folded over, you won't see the outline on that bit. And let's do some dots here. And I think that's it actually. We'll darken in this outline edge. Ta-da! Right, let's add a couple of little leaves to this. So I'm back to my pencil. Because we're imagining a leaf sort of poking out of here, let's do it like this, and let's do another one down here. So it's not a straight line like that. I sort of do mine a bit more, I guess, curved, like a elongated S shape. And then I'm gonna add some detail. And then make these lines not straight, but a little bit curved. And you can either do them on both sides or just one side. Let's ink that. Also, there. My pen hasn't completely gone over my pencil line. I don't think that matters. Pure drawing. Don't worry about it. Once you've erased the pencil, you'll never even see that. Okay, so that's 2 little leaves, and then we might add a little bit of a... Leaves on this kind of one are difficult because you can see in between the petals, whereas it's a block here. So unless you want to be drawing little bits of leaf in between here, which can, if I'm being honest, get fiddly, I would do a different kind of leaf here, or always draw your leaf coming from bits where there's a dense area of petals. So like if I try to draw a leaf in here, like it's just a little bit goodly, getting it in that little gap, or you can do it in here where there's a block. So let's actually just do one in here, and then we'll do another kind of one here. Let's draw a tendril with some leaves coming off of it. So I draw the initial vine first, and then little spriggy bits with the leaves coming off of it. And when I'm drawing a leaf, that side, and then that side. Let's ink that. I'm going to make this one. Is that called variegated? Somebody will know. Like that. Do a couple little dots. Here we've got our vine. Now, a nice little tip, in the tip of each vine, leaf, put a little dot. And I like to see that little bit of a stem poking through there. Okay, I'm going to leave that there for a second while we let that dry. Back again. Okay, so that was a quick run through of two of the flowers that are in this page. Oh, I just realised if I lift up the book. Hold on. Let me show you. From one of the pages of the book. That is from, if you want to follow along in your book, it's the last two flowers. It's far too bright on that page. Can you maybe see it? It doesn't matter. It's the last two flowers on that page. And I've just, the leaves was sort of ad-libbed a bit, but that basically takes you through the step-by-step process. I think the most important thing is to draw in pencil first. If you make mistakes, don't worry about it. You can erase them. It really isn't a big deal. If you draw in ink straight out, you kind of have to get it right first time. There is no room for error. I do not like drawing straight out in ink. It makes me very anxious and nervous and kind of defeats the purpose of drawing for me. So embrace pencil is what I say. Now, let's see if we can erase that pencil line without it smudging. I'm just going to do my little quick test. I think we're okay now. Okay, so I've got my eraser, my nice clean bit. Give it an extra little rub. Let's do this one first. So gently erase, like really gently, guys. The phrase, is it softly, softly, monkey, monkey? What is that phrase? I don't know. Just go slowly. You don't need to push hard. I'm barely grazing the surface of the paper. And you just really gently lift off that graphite. This is why having layout paper works super nicely, because you can literally just put another sheet of paper on top and you don't need to do this stage. I'll the next bit when we're drawing the wildflowers, I'll layer up the layout paper so you can see how it differs and just why I like it so much. There we go. Two little flowers. Okay, next up we're going to hop over and do a couple of wildflower stems. Let me get a new sheet of paper. So here we go with the first one. So this one, oh, there's a bit of indentation there from the previous drawing. I'm just going to get rid of that sheet because I'm a fuss pot. Okay, so for the first one, we're going to do a bit like a cow parsley. So what I draw is a tiny little circle there, and then I'm going to draw a stem. So you can draw it straight down, or if you just do it a little bit curved or slanted, I think it just gives it a little bit of movement, makes it a bit more natural, less sort of static. Now draw a little arm up here, one here, one here. These, again, don't have to be perfectly positioned. That one's a little bit shorter. You just sort of want this idea of spokes coming out from the centre. Now that does look a little bit like a dandelion head just now, but what we're going to do is add a little circle to the end of each of these bits, these little arms, and now add 4 teeny tiny petals around that centre point. So if you start here where the spoke meets the circle, you should really get 1, 2 on that side and 1, 2 on that side. Again, don't worry if these are a little bit wonky, if they're not all perfect. Look, that one's tiny, that one's huge. I like that. I think that adds to the charm. You are a human and not a computer. So it's important that our drawings reflect that. Just checking our time. Right, okay. Now let's add some leaves. With this one, I'm going to do just a couple of cute little... So I draw this, here's a bigger version, a circle, like that. There we go. So I'm going to do all this pencil sketch first and then we'll ink these. Now that we've done the cow parsley, let's also do this single stem here. So I'm just going to draw a straight line, again, a straight line that's not massively straight. Then with this one, imagine a bit of a line at the top there. Now make this into a bit of a teardrop. There you go. As you can see, I often draw light, and then as I get more confident about the position of the lines, draw darker. So we do this single teardrop here, and then we're going to do two, one each side, just sort of poking out. I'm going to add a semicircle in here. And want to do anything else? Yeah, let's draw. So imagine this is the middle of the flower. Draw a line coming out here and a line coming out here. So you're not actually going to see these, but that just helps to make it join up and look natural. And let's draw a little leaf. So I'll draw a line like that and then a bit like that. We'll do one down here as well. Wildflower stem number 2. And lastly, oh, sorry, gone way off the page there. Let's do a bit of a bluebell situation. So for a bluebell, what I would do is draw a curved line like this. Now I'm going to draw basically a rainbow shape like that, flick out your ends, and then draw 1, 2, 3 scallops. That's all there is to it. Now repeat that a couple of times in here. I would draw these little kind of stalks first. Little rainbow, flick out at the edges. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This one is much smaller than this one. I'm okay with that. Again, I think part of the charm of drawing is that things aren't exactly perfect. I'm going to add a little circle onto the top of each of those bluebells. And I'm also going to do like a little kind of leafy, knobbly bit on the vine. And with this one, let's do a curved leaf like this. Give it a bit of movement. Here's a nice trick. If this leaf is coming round the back of here, we're not going to draw that bit there. That will make it look like this one's in front. I'll explain that better when we ink it. Okay, so that's 3 little pencil sketches. Now we are going to ink these. So I'm going to take this sheet of paper, remove it from my pad and pop it below a new fresh sheet. So you should be able to see this underneath. There we go. Now I'm right-handed, so I'm going to work left to right so that I'm not going over wet ink. If you're left-handed, work the other way. I'm going to take my pen and I'm going to have to move this. I know it looks beautiful having those in the middle, but I just need a bit of space. So as you can see, I'm just going to go over these lines and I can see them beneath that paper. often office paper will be too thick to do this. So that's why you have to do the technique where you redraw ink over the top of the graphite and erase. We are not going to need our erasers for this, which is a treat. Okay, so let's start inking. I am going to do this a bit differently. I'm going to go over all those bits first, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, this one, we're going to make the stem thicker than a single line. So that means that isn't the stem, this is the stem. It's kind of got a thickness to it. So you could technically colour in that stem, if that makes sense. Now, here's our leaves. So I'm going to do this one first. Do that one completely. Now, the one that's going to be behind it, come here, and then where it goes behind, don't draw. Leave a gap and carry it on underneath. Again, there you go. Don't draw, leave a gap. And then it looks like it's tucked in behind it. That is one of the joys of drawing in pencil. First, you can work out stuff like that. Let's add a few little details. So we'll do that technique of eyebrow plucking to get those little lines there. Oh, sorry, just looked up and saw that. Now let's do a couple of little dots on the sort of rounded bit of each of the bluebells. And I think for these leaves, we'll do some little lines like that, just on the front one. There we go. Here's the next one. I'm going to draw this bit of the petal first. So you'll notice as well that I don't necessarily ink in the same order that I draw. As in, the pencil lines can sometimes be assembled in a different order. You don't have to redraw an ink the same way as you did the pencil. So for example, with this one, I very rarely would start with the stem. Now, here's a little trick that's nice. Do a little blip in the stem, so it's not a straight line. And then do the same here. Just makes the stem look as though it's got a little bit of, I don't know, growth to it. A little natural intricacy. Let's do our leaves. So these I am going to do as a single weight of line, so it's just one line and not two lines. You couldn't colour in that stem, if that makes sense. Let's add some, with this one, I'm going to do a little line coming in here, and the same here. Let's do a few dots around here. That's quite pretty. Just going to leave that as that. And then finally, the cow parsley. So I'm going to draw this circle first. This one I'm going to keep as a single line for this stem. We'll do these little leaves. Might put a dot on each of them first. Now, I think with this, I'm going to ignore that little circle that was in the middle and just trace over the 4 petals. So it's actually different to the pencil sketch beneath it. I think it's cleaner this way. Sometimes if you're dealing with really small details, you are better to leave a few things out, just because otherwise that's going to get really tight and blobby and a bit dark in there. And doing it in this order means now we can draw these little antennae stems going in, and we can line them up perfectly as opposed to having to retrofit the petals around the little stemmy bits. Okay, lastly, here's a nice tip. If you have a little flower like this, a few single dots, I think, just make it look a little bit magical. This one you could do a couple little lines. I think that makes it look like it might be quivering in the breeze. And this one, and this is a tip that I showed Eve the other day. If you do 4 little lines, as if they were quadrants in a circle. Look, here's a better example. This is what I'm doing a tiny version of this. straight line, straight line, straight line, straight line, nothing in the middle. When you do that tiny, I think it looks like a sparkle. You may disagree, I think it does. So let me do a few more here. I'm going to do a couple little dots. Okay, so those are inked 3 wildflowers. Now I'm going to remove the sketch from beneath it. And as you can see, that is much cleaner than drawing and erasing, but it does only work if you've got the layout paper. So there's the sketch, and there's our final inked picture. I'm going to have a quick scroll through your comments and check everyone's. Okay, hi folks, so many of you have joined in. Thank you, thank you. I'm delighted that everyone's managing to see the live. Right, last up, we're going to do a bit of a tutorial. So what I'm going to show you how to do is a really cute, super simple little spherical design. You will need your compass for this. If you don't have a compass, don't worry. Do you know what, I'm actually drawing here and then I keep flipping the camera back and I have to lean over here. This is why I'm at a funny angle. If you don't have a compass like this, don't worry. Just draw around something. Draw around a glass, a cup, anything circular. Or draw a freehand circle. It doesn't even need to be exact. I like the precision of this, I have to admit. And this is the compass that I'm pretty sure I had at school. It is not expensive. I think you can get ones like that for about 99p on Amazon, like $1. Right, let's draw this sphere. So, turn my page. What we'll do is, oh, I just kicked one of my lights. Oh, no. This is going to be a funny angle. I might have to come off to the side a little bit. To use your compass, this spiky end gets poked into your paper, kind of gently, just nudge it in there. I am actually going to have to not do this on camera because the camera's too low. Folks, if you don't know how to use a compass, I apologise, but I can't I can't fit that in at this angle. So that's our circle. You basically stick that pointy edge in, turn it round, you've drawn a circle. I'll do another video on that separately when I've not got this silly setup. Now, let's draw a few flowers in here. I'm going to look and reference the ones that we've drawn so far so that we're doing all things that you've learned to draw in this class. How are we doing for time? We're okay. Okay, so let's start off with a fairly big flower in here. Now you'll notice that I don't always use the exact same method or formula when I'm drawing things. So sometimes I'll do things in a different order, but the basic principles are always the same. And that's what I keep saying to people. You just need to learn the basic principles and then you can start tweaking it and ad-libbing it and making it your own. And somebody said to me the other day, actually it was Isabel on the Passionista Colorista podcast, which I was on at the weekend, so if you don't download that already, I'll pop a link on it and you can have a listen. She mentioned a comment that someone else had said that if you buy this book or learn to draw like I do and follow us in Inky Art School, all you're going to do is learn to draw exactly like me. And that's not true. So the reason that you won't end up drawing exactly like me is remember even when you learned to write. Everybody at school, and I know this because Evie is currently learning to write at her school, gets taught how to form the letters in a certain way. So you do handwriting practice, everyone gets taught the exact same basic formulas. However, we then develop our own unique handwriting. No two people's handwriting are exactly the same, yet we were all taught the same principles for building out those letter forms. So that just proves that even if you learn a formula, there's still plenty of room for self-expression and to adapt those formulas as you begin to practice more and more. Okay, I've just drawn a few different flowers there. I was thinking I might draw let's do. So sometimes I adhere to this outer circle. So for example, these petals, and this leaf definitely does. And these ones poke out over the edge. I quite like that. I think having some that are enclosed and some which are not makes it look more organic. It's like little rogue bits of a garden have just escaped. Changed my mind about that, but some leaves. What else will we have? What else will we have? How about a little teeny flower here? Maybe something up here. Shall we have? I like to do, if I'm doing a big clustery thing here, I like to have something here as well. So let's have 2 smaller flowers. Actually, let's have 3. I always think 3 is a nice number, but we'll do them contained. These are a bit more like daisies. These are not referencing flowers that we've done already today, but you get the idea. Maybe, no, I don't think I will do that one there. I think I'll make that a leaf. Okay, so what we're going to do is ink this. Oh, sorry. That's the pencil sketch. Now, oh, do you know what would look nice? I think having a bit of a vine situation going on there. I love a little curly bit like that, like a tendril. Right, stop. Now I'm going to whip this sheet out and pop it underneath. There we go. So you can see it. Alternative is, if you're not working on layout paper, redraw ink over the top, leave it to dry. I'm going to grab a Staedtler Fineliner pen and we'll start going over these details. So I'm using a 0.3. In all honesty, usually when I'm drawing, I would use a 0.2, but that's just a little bit fine for a live stream. The detail's quite difficult to see. If you're not using a fineliner pen, you could try using like a biro, a fibre tip pen, a felt tip pen. You just need to increase or decrease, oh, like I was thinking about putting an extra petal in there, but I thought better of it. You just need to increase or decrease the scale to fit. So if you're using like a Sharpie, don't in a million years try and draw something like this, but it would totally work. You just need to scale it up accordingly. Let's get these little petals in here. So these are the ones where I say don't worry about the placement, have some going underneath each other. Have some poking in behind bits. See, that's the beauty of drawing a pencil. I can just, when I'm drawing the initial sketch, overlap all that stuff, and then when it comes to ink, you just draw the bits of it that you want to have on top. Let's go around this to give it a bit of definition. A few wee lines here. I'm going to add a polka dot in each of the little curved bits of those love hearts. Oh, did I do one there? Do another one. This flower, I'm just going to shade that bit in black. Now, here's some leaves. So I'm going to do these like this. Again, because it's been drawn in pencil, I can see where it put those little indentations. Little baby pansy. It's so quiet here just now. Perfect. Looking good, looking good. So, I know some of you are going to be thinking, oh my goodness, this is far too fast. Just while I'm on the roll, for these leaves, I'm going to do like the veins first and then draw the leaf around them. That's because I like to line it up so that the leaf is in the middle of that little vine, and I find it easier to draw the vine, the stem bit first. For those of you thinking this is going far too fast, I can't keep up, this is exactly why I've done this live stream, so you can re-watch it later. The idea would be that you watch this back later on, pause it, do all the steps. I've drawn these hundreds of times. I would not expect anyone to pick up a pen and draw it at this speed the first time themselves. You're just getting more bang for your buck if I go at this speed. And also, I didn't want to do just a class with one thing in it, like how to draw one flower. I felt if you guys were tuning in, it'd be better to show you a few different things, and then you can watch back at your leisure. Tidy that up a bit. This one, I'm going to do the middle of the flower like a little bit wavy like that, so not a straight line. Then let's do these petals. I love bits like that where it overlaps or where it's not quite even. And then some little leaves here. I haven't been reading a lot of your comments as you've been posting them, folks, just because I am head down drawing. When I get off the live stream, I'll have a look through and answer as many as I can straight away, and I'll hop back on again either tonight or tomorrow morning and answer more. So if you've got questions that you've posted during the live stream, don't think I'm ignoring you. Well, I am, but just because I can multitask in that way, and I will answer them as soon as I'm finished. There we go. This is like a little cow parsley elderflower sprig. Join those up. Now I would draw this line here, and then I wouldn't try and exactly match that up. I just leave a little dot. Same for here. Gets a bit, if you get a bit worried about joining that up, just avoid it by doing that. There we go. And that's us. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I just noticed that we'd gone off the page. I'm going to add a few little dots. There we go. Excuse me. Here's the sketch coming out from underneath it. So that is our final motif. Hi. So thank you for watching along. I hope you've liked these quick little tutorials. They have been fast. I know that, guys, and I know that it's going to be a bit of an effort to pause and to draw, pause, draw. But I just want to get through 3 little things. So you've got the 2 basic blossoms at the start. There's 3 wildflower stems. That's 4. That's 3. And then the sphere right at the end. And remember, if you are using layout paper, layer up those sheets. Don't do the erasing thing if you can help it, just because it's a little bit tidier. Okay, let me just, I've got like a flow of things to speak about. We're going to do a quick little Q&A at the end of every art school class. So post your questions today for the Q&A. I'm going to pick a question every day and answer it. So today, obviously, we don't have any questions because it is live. I could look through the ones just getting posted now, but I'm going to just waste the live video reading, which is not interesting for any of us. So starting from tomorrow, at this point in the class, I will then pick a question and answer it. Tomorrow, we are going to be doing a draw along. So for those of you that have the book, we are going to be doing, I think this is not going to show up, but this page here. Ah, can you see that? this page. Oh look, that's what I have to do. Come all the way back here. We're going to be doing a draw along in this page here. Probably not going to have time to do both sides, it'll just be one side. If anyone doesn't have the book, I'm going to set up a download, not of this specific page, but of another page a bit like this that has the external frame. You can download it and print it out and draw along in that download tomorrow. If not, join me in your book, everybody. For tomorrow's class, you will need your clicky pencil, one of these, your fine liners and your eraser. If you're drawing in the book, you have no option but to draw ink and then erase. Just checking that I've got everything. Download will be on tomorrow. I'll post that after this class so that you can get it printed out for tomorrow. So you don't worry if you don't have the book. Also, I love to see your inky drawings. I'm going to try and set up some sort of gallery. In the comments to this video, if you have begun drawing, if you have drawn some flowers, if you've done a spherical motif, please post a picture of it because I love to see it, and I'm going to try and pick out a few every day and just celebrate your efforts and say thank you so much for joining me on this amazing inky adventure. If you want to catch up, you can do so as soon as the live video is finished. I'll post it. Give it a few minutes. It takes a while for Facebook to do its magic. How are we doing? 350. But well done, everyone. We made it through our first live class. Thank you for bearing with me. I know that sometimes the technicalities are a bit difficult for me, but we did it. Welcome to Inky Art School. I'm so glad that you joined me for my first class, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for lesson 2, where we'll be doing a draw along. Thanks for watching, folks. Now watch me kind of awkwardly try and end this and turn the computer off. I'll see you tomorrow.